Welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. My name is Tom Connors, of course, and with me is Rob Gallo.
How you doing, everybody?
We have a very, very, very special show for you today. We've got some exclusive information about Dicktor Van Doomcock. We have some pictures, which you can see on the screen right now. We also have a lot of information about his past that we're going to share with you. And, what is that noise?
Yeah, there's like a buzzing or something. What is
buzzing?
That?
Yeah, a tinging, ringing.
Attention!
Oh, what the?
This is the voice of the future ruler of Earth, Dicktor Van Doomcock. You have been interfered with the Abductatron 3000. Relax and prepare to be transported to my secret base at the Earth's core. Seatbelts are optional.
Commencing transmission. Engaging scramblers. Proxy chain initialized. And now, live from his hidden base at the Earth's core, the future ruler of Earth, Doomcock.
Greetings, Tom and Captain Robb. It pleases Doomcock to be speaking with you today. Doomcock acknowledges no man as his equal, but that said, Midnight's Edge and all related podcasts represent excellence in YouTube broadcasting. I find your coverage of Hollywood most informative and insightful. I have also greatly enjoyed your takedowns of Star Trek Discovery, and I consider you allies in my struggle against that abomination, and that is why I have granted you this interview.
I think I want to say thank you for having us. You have a very nice volcano.
Yeah, where do you find an interior decorator to get this far deep into the Earth's core? You've done a nice job at the place. Is this the old Blofeld Blair?
No, Blofeld is a punk. And he's fictional. I'm real.
You have to forgive us. We don't get abducted every day.
Don't get abducted.
I know. You're filled with awe.
Yes, that too, yes.
Yes, you're afraid.
A little bit. I peed a little.
Never fear. I vow to return you safely to the Earth's surface, assuming you don't piss me off.
We wouldn't dream of it, Exalted One.
So, what do you want to know? I understood that you were interested in an interview.
Yes,
with me.
absolutely, Exalted One. If you will please indulge our curiosity.
So
Certainly.
I guess I'll start it off. Where do you hail from?
Well, that is a long and tangled story. This origin has never been revealed before. I was born in 1849 to Count Otto van Doomhan and his lovely wife, Dora Lichtenstein, in Prussia before the German unification under Wilhelm I and Bismarck. Technically, that makes me 168 years old, plus add a year for every episode of Star Trek Discovery I've watched, which makes me 175. Thanks, CBS. Thanks a fuck of a lot.
Well, Star Trek Discovery has aged all of us, hasn't it?
A little bit, yes.
It sucks your soul.
Tell us a little bit about your folks.
Well, I will tell you that I'm not 175 in actual years. There's a tale behind that, but that involves my parents. In 1849, in Prussia, I was Otto van Doomhan's only child and sole heir to the House of Doomhan. I enjoyed a life of obscene privilege until the age of 10 when I lost my mother in a carriage accident. It was the carriage of a nobleman, and while he didn't drink, his horses did. My mother died in the crash, and this nobleman was never prosecuted. My father's operatives, however, did make the horses OD on opium, so there was at least that revenge. It was hell afterwards getting them outside of that Chinese den, but it was worth it. Subsequently, my father used one of the dead horses as a coat rack. It held 4 coats. 5 if you tickled it right. My father remarried a year later, a devious harlot named Gretchen Stratun, who brought to the marriage a boy 2 years my junior, a boy who now shared my name, Wilhelm van Doomhan. What a little shit that bastard was. I'd catch him abusing animals, stealing my toys, whacking off in the shed. I hated him immensely almost immediately. I vowed inwardly to bar him from the castle once I received my inheritance. But fate and Gretchen Stratun had other plans. Have either of you gentlemen ever heard of the Order of the Subtle Spire?
I can't say that I have, no.
No. Wait, no.
Well, it's subtle. It was, and it is, an occultist group akin to Aleister Crowley's Ordo Templi Orientis, an organization of magicians who develop magical techniques based around the sacred geometry of the universe. In other words, a practitioner can access the power of the sacred forms of creation like the Golden Mean and use that power to reshape reality in various ways.
Kind of like Doctor Strange?
Kind of like Doctor Strange. Isn't that a cool movie?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yes, it certainly was.
I like that movie. Yeah, I like that they kept his outfit largely intact. I like that cape.
So, as always at Midnight's Edge, we did a little research on you, and,
Research?
well, yeah, somebody slipped us some information and a few pictures, and as far as we were told, you grew up the son of a mill worker in Wisconsin.
A what worker in Wisconsin?
Bubba Doomcock, and your mom, Blanche, who worked in a Budweiser plant.
What the?
Well, it seems that we were past these pictures of you as a baby and of you with your parents. It's interesting that you all wore helmets. Were you secretly a family of supervillains posing as blue-collar workers? Or
Blue collar? Let me see that. What the hell is this? This is a fraud! Harvey!
Screw you all, suckers. I'll see you later, monkey boys.
You little son of a bitch! I'll get you, Harvey! God, that little bastard. Don't believe anything he says. He's always riling me.
oh, okay.
Let me, explain what the hell happened with this Order of the Subtle Spire. Essentially, everything that exists is in reality only one thing, the universal unmanifested consciousness that has chosen to manifest itself in the seemingly myriad forms of the universe. Very much like Doctor Strange, if one understood this enough, you could raise a car or a mountain. You couldn't raise Star Trek Discovery from the level of shit, but you could do a lot of things. And this level of complete understanding is very rare, and most practitioners can basically, do card tricks. Sometimes host game shows, and some particularly shitty magicians trick networks into letting them write Star Trek episodes when they're illiterate, even mentally impaired. In short, all kinds of miracles are possible. But my dear stepmother had ties to the Order of the Subtle Spire and managed to have them abduct me from my bedroom in the dead of night, getting me out of her way and making her own son the heir of the House of Doomhan, Count Wilhelm Van Doomhan. The name still pisses me off. Hey, Count, how you doing, Count? More wine, Count? Still a drunken drag queen who buggers sheep, Count, you little prick? Doomcock has issues.
So obviously you and your sibling didn't get along.
We did not. He was an interloper in my idyllic childhood that completely screwed it up. Have any of you boys had that experience?
Well,
Yeah, I think we've all been there, yeah.
I imagine Andre rules your kingdom with an iron fist.
I wouldn't say with an iron fist, but I'm sure you'd be impressed.
Yes.
But one could assume then a lot of your reasons for becoming a supervillain in the future had something to do with this?
Yes, it did. You see, I was smuggled out of Prussia by these kidnappers and they took me over to England. They needed a boy of royal blood for a ritual. They were gonna do kind of a moonchild thing like Crowley and Jack Parsons were. They were gonna make me an avatar and bring about the end of the world, the apocalypse, immanentize the eschaton, as they say. And so for 2 years I was with them, and they were educating me in their ways because they wanted me to not only have royal blood, but also to have power. So this really relates to why I became not only a supervillain, but a pop culture critic. On my 14th birthday, the time was finally right for this ceremony, and in the dead of night we gathered around a sacred mound in a clearing in Rendlesham Forest, which would over a century later be the site of the Bentwaters UFO incident. I don't know if you follow ufology.
I'm familiar with some ufology.
A little bit.
Yes, it was that forest. It has apparently some kind of ley lines or some kind of power up there. But we were there. The mound was surrounded by a large ring of candles, and about halfway through the ritual, we were enveloped in a green light. A large silver disc was hovering over us. At the time, I had no idea what the hell it was, though now, of course, I do. And I was blacked out and taken aboard. When I came to, I was there. I was surrounded by these weird things I thought were goblins, and there were a whole bunch of people strapped down in a circle with their heads facing the center, and they were wired to things, and they were all dressed very peculiarly. I know now that they were dressed in different period costumes. Apparently these things had been abducting people across time, and I believe that they were networking human minds to perform the immense calculations necessary to warp time and space. That is how they worked the drive, and they plugged me in there and lit me up, and basically what happened is, as they powered up their hyperdrive, I desperately crafted a teleport spell. The end result being that I teleported myself not only off the ship, but through time, and all of a sudden I found myself in the Capitol Plaza Cinema in Austin, Texas at 9:45 a.m. on May 25th, 1977, for the first showing of Star Wars. I didn't know where I was or what was going on, but I took shelter in a vast, dimly lit chamber with comfortable seats just to regain my composure. Suddenly, the lights went out, the film began, and when I emerged from that theater, the world had changed. I had changed. I would never be the same again, and that's the very day I began reviewing films.
Well, Exalted One, that film did in fact change all of us as well.
Did it really?
You're really in very good company here. So, we share your affection for Star Wars, as it were. What was the biggest culture shock, though, from moving from your period to our period?
I didn't eat very well. I was homeless for a while, and the fact that there were these pictures that moved. And sound, I mean, my God, it was quite a bizarre, I had to adapt very, very quickly. Fortunately, I was at a young age and I was still malleable, and I quickly caught on with my superior intellect and my knowledge of magic. So I was not entirely helpless. But it was quite a culture shock, and even today, I still look at your world and with puzzlement and amazement. Whereas you take, moving carriages and things for granted, I still view them as the miracle that they are, and that's probably why I'm so damn good with technology, building giant robots and so on.
I have to ask, though, is there anything that you miss from your time?
I miss duels. I miss being able to challenge somebody who's pissed you off, slap them in the face, take them out, and shoot them. That just doesn't happen anymore. You can't really do that.
Yeah, only the president could get away with that.
Oh, well, I'd try to stay out of your pretend politics. All those politicians are simply pretenders to my throne.
What's your favorite thing, though, about our time?
I think smartphones. But really, smartphones are only a delivery mechanism for my actual favorite thing, which is film and television and music. Basically, pop culture, and that is why I have sworn to purge pop culture of its garbage and purify it, making it more fit to serve humanity.
It's a very noble cause.
Yeah. So that kind of brings us up to where we are now. But let's go back a
Yes.
little bit. And did you ever wind up getting adopted? Let's start there.
Oh yes, yes I did. I was homeless on the streets for a while. The cops grabbed me and, after I saw Star Wars, I started emulating Darth Vader, internalizing his arrogance and his imperious nature. I was not terribly intimidating at the age of 14, but I did the best I could. I was put in an orphanage, and I had trouble getting adopted because whereas other kids were being nice and affectionate, when potential parents would come around, I would be like, "How dare you examine me like a slab of beef, you unmitigated fools? It is not for you to reject me, but for me to accept you. So tell me what you can do for me today." That didn't go over very well, as you might imagine. So I was ranting and raving in the orphanage, raising my fist and being imperious at all the parents who came. And I brooded and ranted, and finally I was adopted by a wealthy lawyer and his socialite wife, Thomas and Martha Murdoch, who saw in my arrogance a gumption appropriate to a future success worthy of being their son. Of course, this meant I received scant affection as a child, but I was given the best of everything materially, along with a series of excellent boarding schools, then on to Oxford, where I received my doctorate in archaeology, a degree motivated almost entirely by seeing Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, yeah, that is a great movie, though.
It really is.
Yeah, we can clearly see pop culture having an influence on you since you came to the 20th century, obviously.
It was, but I tell you, you asked me earlier, what is it that I most miss about the old days?
Right.
And I will tell you, the thing I most miss is adventure. I was very restless upon graduating from Oxford. I studied the exploits of Captain Sir Richard Francis Burton and Speke, Lewis and Clark, Vasco da Gama, Alexander. Like him, I lamented that there were no frontiers to conquer. And even as I accepted a post teaching archaeology at Miskatonic University, I was driven to do two things: write movie and TV reviews in my journal, which, as I said before, or I have not mentioned it yet, have I? My journal is being published at patreon.com/Doomcock. All of it will be put there. It's a great way to read reviews of classic movies and shows from the past, and also to view the path of my evolution on the path to supervillainy. And writing movies and finding some new frontier to conquer, that's when I got wind of a rumored world at the center of the earth, which is where I am today.
Rumored world. So that's where pretty much where we are now, this rumored world.
That's right. And if you want to get back to the surface, you will be very, very kind to me. Now, there are two entrances to this world at the Earth's core, according to lore. An opening in Antarctica, which retreating Nazis accessed at the end of World War II to hide and secure their saucer fleet, and an opening hidden in the depths of the Amazon. It was this entrance that I resolved to find, and after many adventures and scrapes with certain death, I found it. The details of this odyssey are voluminous, and so I'll leave it at that for now, though as I said, the details can be found at patreon.com/Doomcock. Are you amused by how I keep repeating that address? Patreon.com/Doomcock? It's a trick I learned from William Shatner. Shatner, who can scarcely complete a sentence without mentioning the many items for sale at williamshatner.com, and I figure, hell, if it's good enough for Shatner with all his bags of dough, it's good enough for a struggling supervillain who desperately needs financial assistance to help finish out his robot army.
But I can't imagine your Patreon is why you brought us here, just to plug your Patreon.
No.
I gotta believe there's more to it than that. So what is your goal here? Why did you start the YouTube channel? Why did you bring us here? The whole thing, the whole shebang. Tell
The
us.
reason I started my YouTube channel was Star Trek Discovery. I was so outraged by this abomination, this insult, not merely to Star Trek or to cinematic narrative or even to humanity, but the very notion of cognition itself. Every single episode of Star Trek Discovery is a fractal of shit. No matter how minutely you examine it, how deeply you delve into almost every nuance of the thing, you will never be able to identify everything awful about it. Surely one of the most horrific works that man hath wrought. That's why I decided I had to start this channel. Yeah, my blood pressure hovers around 450/300. I am always enraged and hate everything that I see. But Star Trek Discovery damn near made my head explode like John Cassavetes at the end of The Fury. And I saw the good work that Midnight's Edge was doing on Star Trek Discovery. And so, I have decided to reach out to you now.
No, we are flattered that you like what we do here, Exalted
I
One.
do very much.
Is that right, Tom?
Yes, thank you. But I gotta imagine, I guess, what did you feel like, though, when you finally realized you had reached a point where your arch nemesis, your brother, however you want to put it, I doubt you consider him a brother, so I don't want to upset you, your Exalted One, but so how did you feel, though, when you realized he had long died, probably, and here you were without any kind of nemesis until STD came along? And I mean Star Trek Discovery, of course, not that bout of, syphilis.
The clap.
But yeah, so how did you feel, though, when you finally realized that your arch nemesis was gone until you found Star Trek Discovery to fill that hole?
Oh, humanity has always been my nemesis. I mean, there's the pop culture, and then there's also taking over the world. Taking over the world was, there was a certain point in my life where I committed fully to taking over the world, but, the details of that can be found at patreon.com/Doomcock. May I take a moment to address your audience directly?
Oh, by all means.
Of course, yes. You have the spotlight.
Friends, at the center of the Earth, there's a robot in need of a new arm. There's another robot with a faulty motivator, one with a bad ankle joint, and one robot who got chewed on by a bunch of lizard people while out on patrol, who refuses to come out of his bay until he gets a new paint job. Oh, won't you help? There's nothing sadder than a giant robot that can't rampage for want of a simple replacement part. But you can make a difference today. Go to my online store at Zazzle.com/DVD Shoporama and buy some Doomcock beer steins, or a Legion of Doomcock t-shirt, or a poster of Harvey Cthulhu. That's Zazzle.com/DVD Shoporama. Remember, a giant robot is a terrible thing to waste.
I asked Sally Struthers to do my voiceover for me. She told me to fuck off, but that's showbiz. So humanity has always been my nemesis. That's why I'm building my giant robot army at the center of the Earth.
Oh, robot armies are pretty expensive to build and maintain. We know that. So.
They are damned expensive.
And of course, taking over the world, that's a big, massive goal. But in which case, obviously, you decided to take a left when Star Trek Discovery came along. Then concentrate on that, or you wouldn't have started your YouTube channel, I assume.
It was really a conflict for me to start this YouTube channel. I mean, one of the great benefits of having an army at the center of the Earth is because it's secret. You catch the world off guard, and so me spouting off and talking about my giant robot army is pretty stupid. But I had to speak out.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell us about your coat of arms. I mean, and the that's featured in the opening of the video. I mean, the three-headed rooster. What's the origin of that?
Yeah, I've wondered about that myself. Yeah.
The creature on my heraldic coat of arms is the three-headed rooster of fabled Eridon, the portend of the apocalypse at the twilight of time, the Doomhan, which translate into English as the Doomcock. This is a Germanic myth. Eridon is located about 5 miles outside of Valhalla. There's a little cul-de-sac that ends at a used auto parts store. You go through the back, or they got it chained up in the junkyard back there. It makes sense. Because, see, no one in Valhalla has a car, so nobody goes there. It's a perfect camouflage. Plus, it's close enough to Valhalla that the gods can keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't escape. If it does escape, it's going to eat some of those fuckers for sure. It's pretty fearsome, and it's prophesied that after Gotterdammerung, it's going to get loose at the twilight of time and finish things off like a home pitcher at the bottom of the 9th inning. The Doomcock will knock over anything still standing, eat any survivors, make sure all BB-8 toys are destroyed, delete any extant copies of Star Trek Discovery or anything by Jar Jar Abrams. Little known Germanic myth, but you heard it here first on the Midnight's Edge.
Wow. We're glad to have that scoop.
It is a scoop. It's a pretty damn cool thing.
I'm scared shitless. I really want to go home, Rob.
We're hoping you will see it in your graciousness.
I'm too young to die.
Yes.
I would not allow you to die. I would not allow you to perish. Your loss would be YouTube's loss. I need you as an ally in my struggle against Star Trek Discovery, Ghostbusters reboots, and all the garbage like that cluttering up our pop culture landscape.
Oh, thank God. Or thank Doomcock, I guess.
So you guys are lucky. You guys are really fucking lucky, because I tell you what, if you had pissed me off, I would have cast you into the pit of despair.
Oh no.
Why is it a pit of despair?
Why the pit of despair?
Why? Because it's a really deep pit with really steep sides that you will never be able to crawl out of.
Oh, so so basically it's a pit.
Yes. But nobody cast into it has ever complained about not despairing enough or feeling good about being in it, so
That's tough to argue.
yeah, I think it's deserving of the name.
How did you meet Harvey?
Oh, it's just, I was probing around, screwing around in alternate dimensions, doing exploring.
College?
Yeah, I was opening up things, checking them out, kicking the tires, so to speak. Thinking about maybe a way to use other dimensions to kind of, just appear over, Schenectady or whatever city I wanted to destroy with my, giant robots.
You were really trying to see chicks naked, weren't you?
Not trying. I see chicks naked all the time that way. It's kind of like having a magic mirror of porn. It's fabulous. The magic mirror on the tube. Let me see somebody's boob.
So anyway, back to Harvey. So
yes. I was kind of looking for invasion routes, porn, whatever, and suddenly I see this tentacled monstrosity peering at me, and we started to talk. We got along pretty well. He asked me to lower the containment field, but I've read Lovecraft. I know what he's up to. And I said, no, Harvey. Turned out, well, his name is not really Harvey. It's unpronounceable. I call him Harvey because it's unpronounceable. He lets me. And I wheel his containment thing around and we watch TV together. He's a pretty good friend for somebody that wants to destroy my soul.
Yeah, he seemed to have a real love-hate relationship with you, it seemed, from when I talked to him.
Yeah, it's kind of like The Odd Couple, only he doesn't clean up. I'd really like it if Harvey would get out and put on an apron and straighten up the lair. It's messy down here, and it would be nice. But really, we're like a couple of, lovable bachelors kicking around, each one of us plotting to destroy the world. Well, he wants to destroy it, I just want to capture it and rule it,
To address this, Your Honor, Doomcock, you're not all bad. You do have a little heart in you.
Well, Yes, I do. I want to take over the world, not to be a dick, but actually to kind of fix things around here. And also to avenge myself on my enemies and make people pay for rejecting my genius. But yeah, I actually want to make the world a better place
That's more of a
in
side
my own
thing.
fucked up way. Yes. And also I'm tired of seeing humanity dumbed down by pop culture. I have a theory that bad shit like Star Trek Discovery that just dumps illogic and plot holes in your mind nonstop actually makes you less able to think, to actually have cognitive analysis of what you are seeing, and I think that is a detriment to society.
Well, I think doctors, including yourself, of course, have already said that STD causes brain damage, right?
That's right. Not only does it cause brain damage, but after I saw the 2-part pilot of Star Trek Discovery, it hurt for me to pee.
Really?
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, you should see a doctor, another doctor.
Yes, I was going to WebMD and looking up, and I was asking people, it's okay if your pee is green and chunky, isn't it? It really is. I mean, that happens sometimes, doesn't it? But apparently not.
No, you should see a doctor.
You should go, urologist, yeah.
Yeah, damn Star Trek Discovery, fucking Mikey Spock. God, I hate that damn thing.
Okay, so speaking of pop culture, what do you love about pop culture, obviously? Because, this hatred comes from somewhere. You had to have loved something to hate so much. I mean, I think that's really the lesson that we're learning here, right, Rob, with this whole thing, I think.
Yes, yeah. I mean, yeah. What's the other side? I mean, what is your passions in pop culture?
Well, I have frequently mentioned that there are certain films that I regard as 5 stars. Now, that's on a relative scale of hate. I really find that if I let my hate down, it saps my strength as a supervillain. And so I hate everything, but it's on a scale. So 5 stars is the thing I hate the least. Things like Blade Runner, Lawrence of Arabia, which is absolutely spectacular. Have you guys seen it?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Isn't it amazing that, yes, it has the feel of being a intimate character study at the same time as being a grand epic. And how many films are there like that really in the world? It's just spectacular. It's really unparalleled. Blue Velvet, Lynch was a genius.
David Lynch,
Yeah, before he screwed up that Twin Peaks revival, now he's on Doomcock's stomp list.
Oh, so that may be next.
Oh, no.
Yes, that goddamn 18 hours. Did you guys watch that?
No, I didn't yet. And
Good,
everything I hear makes me not want to watch it even more.
You're very wise. You're very wise. Never has Doomcock been more wrong than about the Twin Peaks revival, because when it was announced that David Lynch was going to write and direct 18 hours of Twin Peaks on Showtime so he could do anything he wanted, I predicted that there was no way this could fail. This was the pop culture phenomenon I was most interested in, and it just turned to shit. Without not a bang, but a whimper.
Did the gum that you like come back in style?
It didn't. It did not come back in style. I just scraped the bottom of the desk and then I just decided it wasn't worth it, But yes, other things I love, Casablanca, The Fly, the remake, Jeff Goldblum, Guardians of the Galaxy, President's Analyst, Little Mermaid, Iron Giant.
Little Mermaid, really?
Yes.
Kind of surprising.
Yes. Doomcock has an extensive knowledge of soundtracks and musical theater. I wanted to be an actor before I became a supervillain. Yes, I have a great flair for theatricality.
Well, I guess I can see that. Yeah.
Yes, I do impressions and, little acting here and there. Did a soup commercial in the 90s.
Oh, really?
Yes, I got paid, but they didn't use it. Eat Campbell's soup, you fools!
They might have thought it was just a bit
A bit too, yes. Might have been just yes. You don't want to usually scare people.
Well, I mean, that's how you do a soup commercial. I mean, you've got to really commit.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to be like, hey, Campbell's soup, it's good. Who's going to buy that? Why did they hire Doomcock for that, those fools?
You were trying to sell it through fear.
Yes, drink the goddamn soup, you bastards. But it didn't work. Apocalypse Now, I love that. Never get off the boat. Absolutely goddamn right. Words to live by, kids. Like game over, man. Game over.
And you've mentioned a few, obviously, already. What about television? Is there any other television shows you're into? Or?
Yes, well, of course, the original Star Trek. That's why I'm so grievously offended by the, constant violations of that horrible piece of shit they're calling Star Trek these days. The greatest television show of all time is The Prisoner. Have you guys ever seen The Prisoner?
I'm not familiar with it, no.
Oh my God.
I have to put that on my list.
It is the single greatest television show ever made. 17 episodes made in, I believe, 1967 in England. Patrick McGoohan plays a secret agent who tries to retire from his job, and as he's getting ready to go on a vacation, he is abducted and wakes up in a strange place called the Village. And he is given a number 6, and the episodes are centered around the state attempting to break down his individuality and learn the answer to one question: why did you resign? It is a masterpiece of paranoia, surveillance, and freedom that remains not only relevant today, but I think has, if anything, gained in relevance. So I recommend everyone check out The Prisoner. Other than that, The Shield, Monty Python, Seinfeld.
Oh, wow.
The Expanse. What?
Seinfeld.
You have a sense of humor, yeah.
Yes, I love Seinfeld. I can't get enough of Seinfeld.
Is there any other television programs you like?
Oh, God. The X-Files. UFO. UFO is a very little-known show around here. Have you guys ever seen that?
No, I haven't, actually.
Not that I know of.
You give me
it's really
good tips
cool.
here on television we should check out.
Oh, UFO is the shit. It was like, it was done in the 70s, and for them the future was, I believe, 1990, and they're this secret base underneath a film studio that has a moon base, and basically UFOs are infiltrating Earth, and this agency, Shadow, is tasked with protecting Earth from these UFOs. And I'll just have one thing to say for the people out there in the audience. Girls on the moon base with purple hair. You gotta see it. And the effects are fantastic. They use those miniatures like in Thunderbirds and the Gary Anderson, those kind of, kids shows at the time. This was his first foray into adult entertainment and, not like porn. I mean, entertainment for adults. The purple hair moon girls, I understand you might start to, walk it down, you can walk it down, but no. It was, it's straight. It's straight. Kids in the Hall. I love Kids in the Hall.
They're very good.
So I'm sure Rob's interested in what kind of music you like.
So I like pretty much everything but rap. I'm not really big into hip hop, but the Beatles. I love classic rock, everything. AC/DC, Zeppelin, old country. That's a weird, little niche that I've started enjoying, that weird hickey country stuff, the sincere stuff between, maybe 1940 to 1979. The movie Mars Attacks got me hooked on Slim Whitman. Ever since Slim Whitman's Indian Love Call made the Martians' heads explode, I have really fallen in love with Slim Whitman. I listen to a lot of his shit. Johnny Cash, Hank Williams,
I can see
Beethoven. Yeah, disco, 80s stuff. Shatner performing anything.
It
I
seems
like
like you have
Shatner.
quite an affinity for Shatner, yes.
Yes, I'm a big fan of William Shatner, yes.
Do you have his album, The Transformed Man?
I do, in fact, yes.
Yes,
It's a mind-expanding substance.
Tour de force of Shatner.
Speaking of mind expanding, did you ever, experiment with drugs or anything like that, especially in college days?
No, not really. Just alcohol. A lot of alcohol. You've got to have, alcohol. When you're sitting there and, you've got several giant robots and pieces on the floor, and you're wondering how you're going to make ends meet and raise that army. It's easy to hit the bottle, but I'm functional.
What is
Mostly.
Doomcock's favorite beverage in that regard?
My favorite beverage is a single malt scotch. Specifically, I prefer scotches from Isla.
Seems very fitting.
Lefroy 10 year is probably my favorite. I recently got a bottle of Oddbeg 10 years, and that's really good too.
Well, so obviously we've talked a little bit about the things you hate the least. And we might have to make this next list, your top 25 or 20 or whatever. But okay, get into the things that you hate. We obviously know The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens and Star Trek Discovery. That's no secret. But tell us your other secret passions as far as that fuels your hatred.
You get in a mental loop, and you ask me that, and mainly what I think of is Star Trek Discovery and Jar Jar Abrams and Bad Robot and Star Trek Discovery, and I hate Star Trek Discovery some more.
Right.
Lost! Oh, God, I hate Lost. The show Lost. I hate that damn thing. Let me tell you something. I hate Lost more than any human being alive, because every human being that hated Lost more than I did has spontaneously combusted. That's how much I hate it. Like, I'm at the edge of hate, just at the edge of spontaneous combustion. And, if I hated even a degree more, no more Doomcock. So, that goddamn thing, those assholes had no plan whatsoever. They just con you and con you and con you, strung you along for how many years? 5? How long was that damn thing on?
Yeah.
I mean, what did you guys think?
Almost as long as the chase in The Last Jedi.
Yeah. Absolutely no
Yes.
plan. Sounds like Jar Jar Abrams with The Force Awakens, yes.
It really does. You'd think they'd have learned their lesson, but, Bad Robot is famous for that. I mean, they set shit up and they never finish it. I understand. I mean, I stopped watching it in plenty of time to avoid this, but I heard that that spy thing he did on TV, Alias, what was it called?
Alias.
I think it was Alias.
Yes, I heard that completely shit the bed in the end. And it's no surprise. A Bad Robot is just a bunch of
Fitting
damn
name,
hacks.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, lousy robot. Shit robot. That's what it should be called.
Right, you have bad robots. Those are shit robots. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, my robots are bad, but, they're good. They're good at what they do. When they're unleashed, oh shit, kiss your ass goodbye.
Right.
I hate recasting men's parts as women.
I hate that, yes.
I just think, yes, I really hate that. And it's not, I would also hate recasting women's parts as men.
I hate that
The
too,
problem is that it denies the reality of these characters. It completely denies them.
Like, the talk now is should a woman play James Bond? Like, that would be a definite no from you.
Oh, I think that's in fuck no category. I think that's right up there, edging up in the fuck no, where I start to feel dizzy and have to grip the table to, avoid passing out. The blood pressure, the blood pressure. No, but I hate that. I mean, I've understood that in the comics, Iron Man is now a woman of color. I mean, then shouldn't it be called Iron Woman? What the hell are we doing? And Doctor Who.
You're right.
It's just, what it does is it denies the reality of these fictional characters. You know, it's like having Ripley, and now Ripley's going to be, a teamster or something, some kind of dude. It's just obscene. It's like, okay, so Ripley was never real. Doctor Who was never a real character. We can just interchange and swap out these parts, and it's insulting. It's insulting to pop culture, and it strips our mythology.
It's insulting to women, too.
Yes, of course it is. If you want to have good parts for women, then fucking write them. Just write them.
Or use ones that are already established. Yeah,
Yes.
That's what we've said.
Well, just make some new ones. Make some new scripts. Some great stories. You don't hear me bitching about Sarah Connor or, Ripley at all. They were fantastic.
Well, Hollywood will never learn, even though Wonder Woman, a 75-year-old female character, was one of the biggest films of this last year. They'll still try to continue to do what they do with, like, Ghostbusters and Overboard and all this talk about James Bond and Doctor Who, of course, you brought up as well. And
yes.
What else can you tell us as far as things that really grind your gears?
I hate cruelty to animals. I hate corporations. I hate Jerry Jones. I'm sick of his face. I'm sick of his crap with that Dallas Cowboys stadium being such a damn, shopping mall of sports. It's disgusting,
Right.
A giant TV. I hate commercials that picture dads and males as schlubs and schnooks, that they're just the butt of jokes. That's how corporations really think of us. Flo, I hate Flo, from Progressive to Geico Gecko. I hate auto-tuning in music.
Oh, so you're not a Kanye West fan.
Oh, God. I respected Kesha, though. She actually, on her latest album, she avoided the auto-tuning, and she actually did a cool song about Godzilla. It was actually really cool. You should check it out. Kesha. She's hot.
Okay, so, Rob, was there any more questions you had for his exalted one?
I was just been enthralled by the tale he's woven.
It's true. Every word
I'm not
is
sure
true.
what more I could ask.
I bullshit you not.
Tom, is there anything you want to ask him?
Can we go?
Yes. I will get the Abductatron to get set in reverse and take you back. No. But you're going to have to be knocked out first. Well, no, I mean, not with a giant mallet, with some gas. And, knockout gas.
All right, well, of course, we'd like to, I guess, thank you for your time, sir, and having us in your lair and answering all our questions and giving us a lot of insight into who
definitely
Doomcock
the
really
man
is.
behind the mask.
Is that right,
the man
Rob?
behind the myth and the mask, yes.
Yes, indeed. Like Santo. That's another group I like.
Oh, yes.
Southern Culture
I know
on
them,
the Skids.
Yes,
Great group.
I've seen them. They're very good.
Yes, they're very funny. They're very cool. Yes. Well. What else?
Oh,
I want to ask you guys a question.
Yes.
What is Andre really like?
What's Andre really like?
He's a pretty interesting fellow.
Very nice,
Very
smart,
articulate.
passionate, stoic.
Yes. Does he ever laugh? Does he have a sense of humor?
Yes, he does. Yes. It's
Yeah,
not always easy
yeah.
to bring it out of him, but
He always seems very grim.
yes.
We found ways,
Yes.
and that's why
I
we keep
admire
our employment,
him.
I believe.
He's very good.
Yes, a lot of people have said he reminds them of Doctor Doom with the accent. So,
Is he maybe going to play Doctor Doom? I would like Mads Mikkelsen to do it, but if not Mads Mikkelsen, then I suppose Andre would be a pretty good choice.
yes.
You know what? I think I should play Doctor Doom.
Well, I think you would be a shoo-in for the part.
Yes, I think they would have to put a mask over my mask, but still, could be done. The mask was big, because my head would look gigantic then.
Well, I think they like that in movies. Like, big heads look better on
Larger
screen.
than
Who knows?
I don't know. But,
Very good.
Yeah, so,
Well, gentlemen,
we're glad that you took the time. You've taken the time out of your busy schedule from conquering the Earth to speak with us, and we would also like you to assist us on my program. I don't know if you've seen it, called the Trek Log. where we,
Of course, I've seen it. It's
oh,
excellent.
thank you very much, Your Eminence. We would.
You're
Of
welcome.
course he's seen it. Why else are we here, Rob? Jesus.
I don't want to get blasted into oblivion.
All right. Yeah, I know. I get it.
So
Okay.
we would like you very much to have you on the Trek log, Your Holiness.
Yes. Yes. That might further both of our aims in bringing to ground this bastard of a franchise. Yes. It could be done.
Down with Mikey Spock.
Yes, down with Mikey Spock, most definitely.
Fuck.
Up with Doomcock.
Yes. Down with Mikey Spock. Up with Doomcock. Doomcock 2020. There we go. That's all you need to know. All you need is Doomcock. Do. All you need is Doomcock. Doomcock is all you need. I will be monitoring you closely. I've implanted tracking devices in your brain. I knew you wouldn't mind. And when you are broadcasting, I will cut in when I have something to add.
Oh.
Or if you get too soft on the damn thing, I will be there to correct you.
Okay, very good.
All right. And this thing in our brain, is there any side effects?
I don't know. I haven't really tested it.
So
I know it transmits clearly. Beyond that, you may experience some incontinence. I don't know. It's kind of close to that, Yeah, it's close to that sphincter, part of the brain.
Oh.
The brain's got a sphincter control. I don't know. I'm not really a brain surgeon. I just kind of put it in with the gun stapler. It's, it's functional.
Okay.
Don't worry. You'll be fine.
That's why it itches.
A little bit. It'll grow. It'll be all right. Take the first couple of days. Take some, Sudafed and allergy
Should we put any
medication.
kind
You'll
of
be fine.
creams or?
Can we get that over the counter? Yeah, I mean. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. It's just
itches.
ibuprofen. I'm not going to prescribe opiates for you guys. I've
You
been
are a
tricked like
doctor,
that
though.
before.
Okay.
Oh well.
They're cracking down
Well,
on
I guess
that.
we just get knocked out. And
All right. Are you ready?
I guess. Are you ready, Rob?
Well, no, but that's never stopped me before. So.
True.
Close your eyes and think of England. Take them away. Bye, guys.
Oh shit. That was crazy.
I had the weirdest dream.
Why are my pants unbuttoned?
If you like this video, then please hit that subscribe button. Due to recent changes by YouTube, we'd also like to ask all of our subscribers to please hit that bell icon. That way you'll be notified when new content is uploaded. If you enjoy our content, then please consider supporting this channel through Patreon. As thanks, patrons will receive early access to mini documentaries, exclusive behind-the-scenes videos, special Lost episodes, and more. Please join us for more spin-free news and analysis of your favorite genre movies, as well as backgrounds and context of your favorite characters, and roundtable discussions here at Midnight's Edge After Dark.